Do you love to play the Italian opening? Great. Here are some traps to destroy your opponents in just few moves. So in the Italian, knight c3, knight c6, d3, d6, normal development moves. You will play bishop g5, pinning this knight to the queen. They will play h6, trying to kick your bishop. Now here, don't retreat back. Instead, capture this knight with your bishop. They will take back with the queen and think that they are okay, but they are not. After knight d5, threatening the queen and a fork on c7, they have to play queen to d8 to prevent this threat. Now you will play c3, and here bishop e6 is a very common developing move by black, but this is losing because of the move d4. Now here black is losing in all the variations. Let me show you all the variations. So after takes, if they play bishop to b6, then you can simply take this bishop, and pawn to d5 is forking the knight and the bishop. Let's go back. Now here they can also play bishop takes knight, but this is also losing because of the move e takes d5, threatening both the knight and bishop. Say they play bishop to b4 to prevent one of his pieces. King moves and knight goes to safety, but there is queen a4 check, winning the bishop. Let's go back. What if here your opponent play bishop to b4? Now you will capture this bishop with your knight. Now here black have two choices, either to take with the bishop or take with the knight. Let's look at both of them. First, knight takes b4. Now you're going to play queen to a4 check, and you will win one of the pieces with d5. Now let's look at bishop takes c4. First exchange these knights, then after the recapture you will play queen to c2, putting pressure on this bishop and the pawn. The best option for black is to give away this pawn and try to hold on to this position. But here many players try to hold on to this pawn. But here you can play pawn to a4, breaking the defenses. Say something like bishop moves. You can play queen takes c6, and this bishop is lost, and you are completely winning. Let's move on our second trap. This is a trap in the classical variation of the Italian game. c3, knight f6, d4, takes, bishop b4 check, at c3, blocking the check. Now here so many variations are possible, but let me show you the main line, which is castles. Bishop takes, pawn to d5, attacking the knight. Bishop moves back, rook to e1, putting more pressure. If black doesn't move his knight back, then you can take with check, and soon you will capture this other knight. Therefore, black protects one of the knights. Rook takes, and then they castles. Now here you will play d6. This move hampers the development of the black pieces. So a move like pawn takes, queen takes, they will play knight to f5, attacking your queen. You will just move it back, attacking his knight. Now they will go d6 to protect this knight. But here you will shock your opponent with the move knight to g5. It seems like a complete loss of a knight, but it is not. If they take, you will recapture, they will take back. And here you will shock your opponent with the move queen takes f7. Now if they don't take and move their king, then it's a back rank checkmate. Therefore they will take, and you will play rook to e8, checkmate, and your opponent will report you for cheating. Let's move on to the trap number 3. This is one of my favorite traps. The classical variation after takes, bishop e4 check, knight blocks, you castle here. Now here many players just exchange their knights because after takes, black won an extra pawn. So here you go bishop to a3, preventing black from castling. Now here many variations are possible, but let me show you one of the most common moves, which is bishop takes rook. If your opponent also plays this, then you can completely destroy them with rook to e1. They have no choice but to block with their knight. Rook takes. Now if they want to prevent checkmate, they have to sacrifice their queen. Otherwise, if king moves, then rook takes, and after that this is a checkmate. If the king moves here, then it is a checkmate after this move. Queen to e2, and then queen takes e7. Let's move on to our next trap. In the Italian opening, after d4, many players here go for knight takes e4. You can recapture this pawn with your pawn, but here many beginners play bishop to c5, going for the fork on f2. But this is a fatal blunder because of the move queen to d5, threatening mate in 1 and hitting this knight. Now here, if your opponent just takes this pawn, then it's a mate in 1. Here they will see this and instead castle, and you can then safely capture this knight and you are completely winning. Now here another move is possible, which is d6. If you ever face this move, just play bishop takes f7, and if king takes, then queen to d5 wins back the knight, and his king is also exposed and you are completely winning unless you hung your queen.